Hi, good morning from Houston, Texas. My name is Dr. Brandy Yale. I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions for the Cullen College of Engineering here at the University of Houston. So for today's webinar, I'm going to go through some sort of basic answers to questions that a lot of new students have in a short presentation. That should take about 15 to 20 minutes. And then at the end of that, I will start answering your questions. So please leave your questions in the live chat window. And I'll go through them one by one at the end and answer as many as I can until we run out of time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we will start the presentation. You can start typing questions into the live chat window at any time. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties with YouTube. If you can hear me, please leave a comment in the live chat window so that I can know if it's working. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation, and hopefully YouTube will catch up with me. So here's an overview of what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to give some information about the city of Houston and about UH in general. We're going to talk about I-20 processing for international students. We're going to talk about how to set up your MyUH account. And then we're going to talk about orientation, course enrollment, how tuition and fee structure works. And then finally, just a little bit of brief information about employment opportunities in Houston, and then we'll get to the question and answer session. So Houston is the fourth largest city in the United States. We vie with Chicago. They're the third largest city. So every year or two, there'll be a new report of which one of us is slightly bigger than the other one, but Houston is generally considered the fourth largest. We're the energy capital of the world. We call ourselves the energy capital. We call ourselves Space City. There's a lot of nicknames for Houston. Another one is the Bayou City, because we have a lot of bayous that run through our city that help drain away a lot of the water that we get here. We have a very sort of subtropical environment, so it's very humid most of the year. We have very mild winters and very warm, humid summers. Houston is also home to 19 Fortune 500 companies and the world's largest medical center. A lot of our students get internships or employment opportunities or research opportunities through the medical center here. There's a lot of engineering work that goes on in Houston, so there's extensive internship and fieldwork experiences for UH students. And we also have a very vibrant arts and entertainment culture here, so there's a lot to do in the city of Houston. The University of Houston was founded in 1927, and a few years ago, we received Tier 1 public research university status from the Carnegie Foundation. We have a 550-acre campus. It's really close to downtown Houston, but when you're on campus, it feels like you're in a sort of secluded park-like environment. There's lots of sculptures and fountains and trees, and it's a really beautiful place. Because we are in a sort of subtropical climate, our campus is green almost all year round. It's really beautiful. We have a lot of student organizations, a lot of events that happen on campus that keeps us really sort of vibrant and active culturally. University of Houston is the second most diverse university in the United States. So there are people here from all walks of life all around the world. It's a really great environment to be in. Okay, so let's get to sort of the business of what I want to talk to you about today. So right now, most of you are either in the process of getting an I-20 produced for you, or you are receiving your I-20s and working towards getting your visa interviews. For those of you who have not gotten your I-20 yet, here are the steps to receive your I-20. The first step is to accept your admissions offer officially in the application system, and then submit the required documents that are listed here on this page. Once your I-20 has been processed, you will be contacted with shipping options. You can choose to pay extra to have it expedited to you. So here is the list of the required documents. You have to have a copy of your passport, the letter of financial backing, which is a form that we provide that we need you to fill out, and then supporting documents that show that you have enough financial backing to support your studies for 1 year. The letter of financial backing will be used to determine what that amount is. If you have any questions about this, feel free to contact me, or your department advisor can help, and we will walk you through the process. If you're a PhD student and you have full funding, that means that you have your tuition covered and you have a stipend for living expenses through an RA or a TA position. If that's the case, then you do not need to show any financial backing information. You just need to submit a copy of your passport. All of these documents should be uploaded to your application checklist. And once they are, we can then process your I-20. If we're missing anything, or if any of the documents don't provide all of the information that we need, we will contact you to make sure we get the correct documents. So when you receive an email from us saying that you have missing documents, please make sure that you reply to that email. Either reply directly to the email once you have uploaded your documents, or let me know so that I can inform our CVIS coordinator that the documents are there. She's currently processing hundreds of I-20s, so she won't notice immediately that you've uploaded your documents. It may take a couple of weeks. So if you let us know, we can expedite the process and get that I-20 processed more quickly for you. Most of our departments will have the graduate school mail your document to you, so that it comes directly from them. As soon as they process it, they will send it directly to you in whichever way you choose. You can choose free shipping, or you can choose to pay to get it more quickly. Some of our departments will have the I-20 sent to them so that they can check it before they send to you, but that's only a couple of departments, so it shouldn't affect most of you. It'll be very quick to get your I-20 is what we're really hoping for this year. Once you have received that I-20, and I forgot to say, though, if you do have any questions about your I-20, about what your status is, about what step in the process it is, please send me an email and I will check for you to see if we're missing anything, or if some issue that we didn't foresee before has come up, I can let you know what's going on with that. So please let me know if you have any questions about your I-20. Once you receive your I-20, you will get your CVIS ID, and you need that CVIS ID number in order to create your MyUH account. And this slide shows the steps to create your account. You start by going to my.uh.edu and selecting Request My User ID. At that point, you will need to fill in some information, including your CVIS ID or your Social Security number. If you have a Social Security number currently, please use that. Once you've set up the account, you can see if you have any holds on your account. You can view the class schedule, and you can register for classes. If you have any trouble with the process, Information Technology is the best people to contact, because they can help you make sure you get your account set up properly. So there are two different ways to log into your student account. You can do it either through your PeopleSoft ID number, which is your student ID number, or through your CougarNet login name, right? So these are going to be two different ways. You can see this red arrow is pointing towards a row that has two tabs in it. One says CougarNet login and one says MyUH PeopleSoft login. So until you receive your CougarNet login, you're going to use your MyUH PeopleSoft ID login. After you have enrolled in classes, you will get an email that includes your CougarNet information, including your email alias and your CougarNet login information. So you will not have that to begin with. So when you open this page, make sure you select the tab that says MyUH PeopleSoft login and use your PeopleSoft ID to log into your account. Now I want to discuss some of the common account holds that we see pretty regularly. And this is hopefully to help you get registered for classes as soon as possible. All international students will have an international check-in and orientation hold on their account. This hold will not prevent you from registering for classes in your first semester. But if you do not attend both the check-in and the orientation, you won't be able to enroll for your second semester. The hold will become active on your account. So please make sure you attend these sessions. You should have received some information about when these sessions are. When you get your I-20 document, there'll be a packet of information from International Student Services that includes information about these check-in and orientation sessions. And I'll also go over some of the dates for those later in the presentation. The most common hold we see is prior degree verification. This means that we need to verify that you have a bachelor's degree before you're allowed to take graduate level classes at our university. In order to verify your degree, we need official sealed hard copies of your transcripts, mark sheets if your school issues them, and then any degree certificates you have. There's very specific information on the graduate school's website that's listed here for international student transcripts. So you can actually select which country you come from, and it'll tell you exactly what documents you need. So many students have submitted some of these documents, but not all of them. For example, we might have your transcripts, but not your degree certificate, or your degree certificate, but not your mark sheets. So please check with me if you're unsure what you're supposed to have, and I will send you a list of everything we have and what we're missing in order to complete your academic record and verify your bachelor's degree. For all students, but especially domestic students, because we see this problem quite often, if you are currently finishing your degree, please do not submit your transcript until after your degree is conferred. We need to see that you have completed all of your courses, see your final grades, and see that your degree was awarded. So here's a brief information from that website at the graduate school to let you know some of the most common transcripts that we see. For Indian transcripts, we do need individual mark sheets from every semester, including all attempts. We need your provisional or final degree certificate. Either one is fine for this. If you have been awarded your final degree certificate, the graduate school may request to see that one. A consolidated mark sheet or transcript is not sufficient for documentation. We do need the mark sheets. And you can have your university send us attested copies of this documentation as long as it is attested by a registrar and not a principal or other school official. This is usually the quickest way for Indian students to get this prior degree verification taken care of and to get enrolled in classes. If you can have your school mail the copies to us, we can get them processed and you'll be able to enroll in classes before you come to the university. For Chinese students, we need a transcript of all semesters attended, a graduation certificate, and a degree certificate. We need these documents in both the original language and translated into English. So they all need to be sent to the university in a sealed and stamped envelope from your institution. We cannot accept anything that's been opened already and must be sealed by your university. Okay, so here's our last two common account holds. The bacterial meningitis immunization is only required if you will be under 22 years of age on the first day of classes. So the first day of classes is August 20th. If you are still 21 on August 20th, then you will need to submit this proof that you have received the bacterial meningitis vaccine. If you are 22 or older on August 20th, you do not need to submit it. You can find more information about what documentation you need online. Let me know if you have any problems finding that. Once you have gotten the vaccine and you have proof from your doctor that you have received the vaccine, you can upload the form to MyUH through your student account. You don't have to wait until you get here to clear this account hold. Finally, some departments will place an academic advisor hold on your account. And usually the reason they do this is they want you to attend orientation or an advising session before enrolling in classes. The two departments that do this the most are industrial engineering and civil engineering. I believe that most of our other departments, you'll be able to register before you come to the university. Okay, so new students are all current graduate students and new students are able to enroll now. Enrollment started on April 8th. International students are required to enroll in at least 9 credit hours per semester to maintain their visa. However, if you're receiving a scholarship from the college, then you are required to enroll in 12 credit hours. The last day to enroll in classes is August 27th. This is a week after classes start. In order to give you some time to make changes to your schedule, you can drop classes and add classes until that date. And you should talk to your department advisor if you have any questions about what courses you should be enrolled in and whether or not you're eligible now to enroll in classes. And please read through the information on the UH website under Academics, Courses, Enrollment to make sure that you understand the process of searching for courses and adding them to your schedule and then moving to the payment section. There's very detailed information about all of this on the UH website. This is a list of the academic advisors for the graduate programs in each department. So these are your contact people for any information you need about what courses you should be enrolled in, about what degree plan you're following. And their contact information is available on each department's website. If you have any trouble getting a hold of them, you can let me know. And then another thing you can do is email gradschool@uh.edu. This email address leads to a ticket system, which allows us to monitor whose questions are being answered and whose are not. So this ticket will be able to be seen by the graduate school, by myself, and by your department advisors. So if someone's taking a while to respond, someone else may jump in and respond for them. And it allows you to get your answers more quickly. So please let me know or email gradschool@uh.edu if you're having any trouble contacting your advisors or if you have questions that you need answered. We want to make sure that everybody arrives at UH fully aware of what's going on and what they need to do, and that nobody is lost or confused. So the orientation schedule for fall is still being developed. The international student check-in sessions are on July 17th and July 24th, and then August 7th, 9th, 13th, and 14th. For these sessions, what you're going to do is they're going to have a session in the morning and then a session in the afternoon on each of these days. You go in, I believe what they do is they give you like a number or a time to come back for an appointment. And then you meet with them. They go through all of your visa documents, so make sure that you have everything with you so that they can ensure that you are where you're supposed to be and that you are legally in the United States. They will check you in with the SEVIS system, so the federal government knows that you have arrived to attend classes. Then the International Student Orientation will be August 15th and 16th. This is a 2-day orientation with lots of different sessions about different aspects of studying in the U.S. and living in the U.S. It is mandatory to attend these. And then our department orientations are going to be that same week, the week before classes start. Not all of them have actually come up with their dates yet, so you'll keep an eye out for an email from your advisor about when your department's orientation is going to be. And then finally, we'll have a College of Engineering orientation so that you can meet people from our dean's office and learn more about the college as a whole and how we can help you be successful in your studies. This is usually the first Friday after classes start. So I wanted to give you guys these dates to make sure that you know that you need to be here at least a week before classes start. And your I-20 will give you plenty of time to arrive early, and please do so. When you do arrive early, you need to make sure that you have arrangements for somewhere to stay during that time. So please contact me if you're confused about how to go about doing that. We do have some student organizations that help new international students find temporary places to stay the first week or two of classes. So that may be of help as well. Also, please take advantage of our Facebook group, the UH Engineering Cougars Facebook group, to ask questions and to talk to each other about finding places to stay. So for our master's programs, they're all 30 credit hours. And there's many different ways that you can kind of divide up that 30 hours. I've listed some examples here. These are not official tracks that you have to choose one of. They're just to give you an idea of what the different options are. So for what I'm calling the accelerated pace, this is finishing the entire master's degree within 1 calendar year. You would take 12 credit hours your first 2 semesters, 6 hours in the summer, and then you would be completed. This is the cheapest and fastest way to get your master's degree. Many students have different goals. They may not want to finish as quickly. They may want to take a little bit more time, devote some more attention to their classes, or work in an internship through the co-op program. If that's the case, then you're going to want to pick one of the other tracks. You can take 9 credit hours per semester and then 3 in the summer of 2019. You could also use that summer term to do an internship. If you take 6 credit hours during that summer 2019 term, you can do a full-time internship both in the summer and in the fall. And so if that's really your goal is to get some work experience while you're here as well as doing your master's, you may want to consider doing it that way. If you're on scholarship, of course, you're going to need to take 12 credit hours the first 2 semesters. And then you can move that 6 credit hours to fall 2019 and take an internship full-time during summer and fall of 2019. However, if you do that, you will have to pay out-of-state tuition for that remaining 6 credit hours because your scholarship will only last through the summer of 2019. After that, we won't be able to give you a tuition, an in-state tuition waiver unless you have a RA or TA position or unless you have received another scholarship. So please keep this in mind as you're planning out how many courses you're going to take this first semester, and as you figure out what your degree plan is going to look like over the next year to year and a half. So our tuition and fees are charged each semester on a per credit hour basis. They can vary based on residency status, your degree program, and the number of credit hours you take. So the numbers in here are just estimates. Most students are going to have some combination of in-state semesters, out-of-state semesters, 12 credit hour semesters, 6 credit hour semesters. So it may vary what you actually end up with at the end of your degree plan. And if you follow one of the program tracks, the second chart below will show you how much it'll cost. There's really not a huge difference in the different paces, though the accelerated pace is the cheapest. But you will see that there is a large difference between resident tuition and non-resident tuition. So if you have an in-state waiver, you're really saving quite a lot of money. Okay, and so I wanted to touch on employment opportunities since I always have a lot of questions about this. There's a lot of employment opportunities on campus. International students are allowed to work on campus in any position. There are only 3 positions that are eligible for the in-state waiver, and that is the research assistantship, the teaching assistantship, and the instructional assistantship positions. The instructional assistantship positions are usually like lab instructors or lab leaders who help the undergraduate students with their lab work. There are very limited opportunities, especially for master students in their first semester. But once you get here, you should really talk to some of the students who have been here a couple of semesters, find out where they're working, what positions they're leaving that will soon be open. They're going to be your best resource for finding these positions. They're pretty rare for master students within the College of Engineering, but we have a lot of students that work all over campus and many of the other colleges. So other students may help you find those type of opportunities. We also have what we call Cougar Pathway, which is a portal for job postings on campus. Once you've enrolled in classes, you'll have access to that and you'll be able to look for positions. So other types of on-campus employment can include working for dining services, working at the rec center. There's a lot of different opportunities if you're just wanting to get a little bit of pocket money while you're here. However, those do not include in-state tuition. So keep that in mind when you're looking for jobs. New international students are not eligible for off-campus employment until they've completed 1 academic year. That's 2 full semesters, fall and spring. So next summer will be the first time that you will be able to work off-campus in an internship. And we do these through the Curricular Practical Training Program and through our co-op program. And we'll give you more information about this during orientations and advising sessions in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And then, of course, after you finish your degree, you will be eligible for optional practical training. For STEM students, you can have up to 3 years of OPT. We have an Engineering Career Center here in our Engineering 2 building, which focuses mostly on finding career opportunities for engineering students. They hold a career fair twice a year. This picture you see here is actually from one of the career fairs that we've had. And so we'll have recruiters come from lots of different companies throughout Houston and throughout Texas and throughout the United States. They'll come and they'll talk to you about your resume, and hopefully you'll find internship or OPT opportunities through those career fairs. All right, so we're getting to the end of the presentation. I just wanted to remind everybody to like and follow us on social media. This is a really good way to get to know the college, to see the type of research that is happening here, and to get to know what our students and faculty are doing. You can also use the Facebook group to ask questions, to get to know each other. We have a lot of different types of newsletters that you can sign up for through the uh.edu website. And that'll give you more information about research news and announcements from the college. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start going through the questions. And I'm going to see if I can answer as many as possible. And my goodness, you guys have been asking a lot of questions. So hopefully I can get through all of these. Okay, so the first question is how to get an I-20 for PhD scholar having assistantship. So I did touch on that a little bit, but I'll repeat it just to make sure. So to get an I-20 for a PhD student, if you have the graduate tuition fellowship and an assistantship in your award letter, then all we need is a copy of your passport. If it's been a while since you accepted your admissions offer and you haven't heard anything about your I-20, send me an email and I'll look into what the status is on that. What is the approximate living cost in Houston? So Houston is luckily one of the lower cost of living cities in the United States. I'm not sure I can give you an exact number off the top of my head, but we're better than most of the country, I think, as far as cost of living. And many of our students will have roommates and things like that in order to lower the cost. If you send me an email, I'll try to give you some more detailed information about that. I'm glad to hear that you guys can hear me. There's always technical difficulties every time I do one of these webinars. Okay, so the next question is, I am a master's student and I didn't get any scholarship during admit. How can I get an assistantship and be capable of in-state tuition fee? Okay, so there's two different types of, there's two ways to get an in-state tuition fee. So the first one is through the scholarship. The College of Engineering only gives scholarships during the admissions process. So you wouldn't be able to get a scholarship through us, but there are other opportunities on campus. I would suggest looking at the International Student Services website. They have a good long list of scholarship opportunities for international students, and they have their own scholarships as well that can help you. The other way is to get an assistantship in one of those positions, TA, RA, or IA. As a master's student, you're probably going to want to look outside of College of Engineering. Our College of Technology hires a lot of our master's students to serve as TAs and IAs. We have students really working all over campus, as I said before. So there's definitely opportunities out there. Another opportunity may be that if you choose to do a research thesis, your professor who is supervising your research may have funding to hire you to work in the lab as an RA. This is kind of rare because most faculty want to save that money for PhD students. And that's because PhD students will be around longer and they don't have to train them as much, So it is difficult, but I really highly suggest using current students as a resource for finding positions. Okay, so the next question is, how do I avail accommodation on campus? So we do have a housing website. I believe it is housing.uh.edu, but I'm not totally sure on that. You can email me and I'll send you the link. I actually have a document that I can send you. It's just a sort of draft document of all the housing around campus. We have both dorms and apartment complexes that are very close to campus that are popular with students. And then also I was just asking on the UH Facebook group because you might find some students as well there. But please send me an email and I'll send you that document that has some information about housing. I've heard that the location nearby campus is not that friendly. So we are in a very urban area, very close to downtown. So when you're off campus in the area right around campus, you do need to make sure that you are following safety procedures, that you have somebody with you. Don't go wandering around at night by yourself. But I think that if you take some basic precautions that you would expect to take in any large city, you will be absolutely fine. Let's see. What is the batch size for MSCS? I'm not sure I totally understand your question. Are you asking how many students are admitted, maybe? And by CS, do you mean the Computer Systems Engineering program? You can email me or type your question again to make sure I'm understanding you correctly before I answer. Which areas off campus would you recommend for housing options for a fall 2018 student? So since I'm not a student myself, I don't live in any of these housing options, I'd really suggest that you talk to other students. I think the Facebook group is a great way to do that. For Indian students, you can contact our Graduate Indian Student Organization. They're really great at helping new students find living accommodations around campus. For the new international students, does the school offer a picking up service when we come to US the first day? So you can contact, I believe International Student Services has a pickup has a pickup and service, and then I believe the Graduate Indian Student Organization also has a pickup service. So there are some different options, and I can send you links to those if you'd like to email me so that you have that information. But generally, if you don't go through one of those groups, then you need to arrange your own transportation. Okay, how do I apply for a TA or RA-ship? So for most master students, there's not really a process to apply for these positions. RA positions are determined by individual faculty members. They're usually not posted anywhere. And you would have to talk to faculty to find out if they have positions open in their labs. TA positions are done through departments, so that you may be able to talk to the program director for your department to find out if there are any TA positions available. As I said before, these will usually go to PhD students first, but if there are any available positions after that, there's no reason they can't hire master students to do it as well. So I would suggest talking to the academic advisor and probably the program director for your program. Okay, I have received an in-state scholarship. I would like to know what documents are included in the financial supporting documents. So for the supporting documents, these are usually bank statements showing that you have the amount of money required, which you figure out using your letter of financial backing. For scholarship students, I believe it's around $27,000 for a year of tuition and living expenses. If you need help figuring that out, please let me know, and I'll try to answer your questions. For the supporting documents, besides bank statements, we also often see loan letters. So if you have one of those, that will work. And then, of course, you can have a sponsor. So this could be your parents or grandparents' information. So let me know if you have further questions about that, and I'll try to help you. How can I calculate my cost of attendance? I have my tuition fees calculated from the UH website. I need the additional costs. So the tuition calculator on the UH website will give you both the tuition and fees calculation. It depends on what you mean by additional costs. If you're talking about living expenses and all of that, it's really difficult for us to estimate that because it's different based on where you're going to live and if you're going to have a roommate and all of that sort of thing. But the calculator should give you a really good estimate of what those costs are going to be. There are a few courses that will have an additional fee associated with them, but that's pretty rare. What is the minimum required amount for liquid assets mentioned for issuance of I-20? So again, you'll use the letter of financial backing to figure that out. For students with scholarships, I believe that it is about $27,000, but I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, so I'm not sure what it is for a student with out-of-state tuition. What would be the likely deadline for submission of financial documents for master's course in industrial engineering? So for the financial documents for your I-20, there's no hard deadline on when you need to turn those in. However, you need to keep in mind how long it's going to take you to get a visa appointment and then to get your visa and to get here by August. So really, the sooner the better. But we generally will continue processing I-20s through May and into June. So it's not a rush, but you probably have more idea of what the visa process is going to be like where you are, since it's different everywhere based on how close you are to an embassy, how busy your embassy is. So please check into that and kind of figure out a timeline of how long it's going to take and try to get those documents to us as soon as you can. I have been offered a $1,000 scholarship and waiver on the non-resident fees in my offer letter. How can I apply for supplementary scholarships with a substantial benefit greater than $5,000, I suppose? So there's not really anything currently offered by UH for supplementary scholarships for master students. So you will have to look outside of UH to find those sorts of opportunities. As I'm sure you know, there are scholarships all over the place for all kinds of different things. So you're going to have to do a lot of research and try to find additional funding. My department mentioned GA is only available to PhD students and not for masters. Is there any way to get a GA, preferably TA, even after being a master's student if there's sufficient teaching experience? It is possible, especially for students who are, a lot of our master's students work in the College of Technology as TAs. So that would definitely be something to look into. And I lost my place, so I'm trying to find where I was in the questions. You guys are asking a lot of really good questions. How do I check my course is thesis or non-thesis? So all of our master students are admitted through the non-thesis track, and then you get to decide whether or not you want to do a thesis or not. If you do want to do a thesis, you have to find a professor willing to be your research supervisor. And usually we recommend that you do that within your first semester so that you can get started that second semester with your research. So if you're interested in a thesis, I highly recommend that you start talking to faculty when you get here. If you take courses with professors who share your research interests, you may be able to demonstrate that you're a good student to them, and that's a great way to find a research advisor. Okay, I have got in-state, but while filling financial document, I didn't subtract the in-state amount. Will it be a problem? The subtracted in-state amount fee will be displayed in I-20. So your academic advisor will have listed your scholarship on our I-20 request that we send to the CFAS coordinator. So all of that should be taken care of, even if you didn't put it on the financial backing document. If you do get your I-20 and it's not on there, please let us know right away and we'll expedite you a new one. But I don't think that there should be any problem with that. I've already sent my official transcript. Should I submit another during orientation? So if we have hard copies of all of the required documents, you will not need to submit anything else. You can check this through your application checklist, the official degree status. If it says degree verified, then you're done. If it says anything else, then there's something more that we need. You can send me an email and I can let you know what those things are. I've been offered a $1,000 scholarship as part of my offer letter. Who can I approach to get this figure increased? So the $1,000 scholarship is all we offer for master's students right now. There really isn't any further funding, although we are in the process of working on scholarships. New scholarships we're trying to get funded for next year, which may be a possibility in the future. But for right now, the college only offers $1,000 scholarships for master's students. So PhD students should enroll for 12 credit hours every semester. No, actually, PhD students should enroll in 9 credit hours every semester. If this should have been in your award letter, or there should be a link in your award letter to this eligibility criteria for your funding. The funding for PhD students only requires 9 credit hours per semester. I've not been joined in the Facebook group mentioned with this webinar. Can you help me with that? So I'm guessing that you've probably requested to join the group and they haven't completed it. I'll ask our communications office to check if there's any waiting requests and get you in that group. How to get in-state tuition waiver. Didn't get it during admission. I think I've covered that quite a bit, but if you have further questions, please email me. I got an admit for PhD program and I got an F1 visa stamp for my master's program, which is valid until August 2019. Do I need to apply for F1 visa again? So you need to do a change to your I-20 so that it is for a PhD program. If you are a current student in the US, talk to your International Student Services office. If you're a current student at UH, talk to our International Student Services office and they can help you with making sure you get a new I-20. I don't think you have to apply for the F1 visa again. I think you just need the new I-20. But you should talk to them because they will have the best information for you. Let's see. I'm already in Houston. Can I please get your number to talk to you? So calling me is definitely not the best way to get a hold of me. I am often at recruiting events or in meetings. Email is really the best way. But if you email me, we may be able to set up a time for you to call. However, I really highly suggest emailing me and not calling. Okay, so I just finished my final year exams. Do I need to submit my final year memos once I get them from my college, or is it okay to submit them once I'm on campus? So it's really up to you. You can bring your final documents when you arrive on campus, but please keep in mind you will not be able to enroll in classes until all of that is completed. So if you're in one of the departments that allows students to enroll ahead of time, I would suggest sending them as soon as you can. But if you're in, say, industrial engineering or civil engineering, they're going to put a hold on your account anyway, and you won't be able to register till you arrive. So it's going to depend on your situation. Okay, so I received an award for the accelerated program you mentioned, but it says I only get the award if I take classes in summer. So no, that's not correct. You do not. No one is required to take classes during the summer. If you want to receive in-state tuition for all of your credit hours, then you would have to take those remaining 6 credit hours in the summer. However, you can choose to pay out-of-state tuition and take them in the fall of 2019. You definitely do not need to take classes in summer of 2018. How many weeks does it take to get an I-20 after uploaded the financial backing documents? Most are processed within a week of having all of the documents. Sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks, depending on if there's any issues. But of course, we don't have full control over the process because of the way the CVIS system works. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Once it is finished processing, though, we will email you and set up shipping for you. Is it mandatory to take 12 credits in fall and spring semesters for students who get in-state scholarship? Yes, it is. You have to take 12 credit hours to keep your scholarship. If you take less, you could lose your scholarship and the in-state tuition. Where are classes going to be for the Subsea MS, Katy campus or main campus? So I think that there are courses at both campuses, and all of the courses for the Subsea MS are also broadcast online. So if there's a course you want to take and it's at the Katy campus, but you're here at main campus, you would still be able to view the course and take the course. So I do think that they have courses at both, but I believe most of them are at the main campus, unless that's changed recently. If I get an RA assistantship, then I am eligible for in-state tuition. In my admissions letter, I was offered out-of-state tuition waiver. Are they different things? No, those are different. Those are the same thing. It's just different wording. So what the tuition waiver is, it's a waiver of the non-resident portion of your tuition. So what it does is it gives you resident rates for tuition. And so a lot of people will call it in-state tuition, or they'll call it an out-of-state waiver. Sometimes you'll hear it called just a tuition waiver or a non-resident waiver. Those are all the same thing. Next question is, aren't all PhD students provided funding? I got accepted to BME PhD, but haven't heard about RA or TA. So funding is dependent on department and the professor that you're going to work with. We make every attempt to give all of our PhD students full funding. I believe that all of our PhD students at least get the graduate tuition fellowship. However, the actual assistantships are done by departments and individual faculty, so that we can't guarantee that everybody's going to get that. So you should talk to your department to see if it's possible for you to get one of those positions. I have already sent scanned copies of my provisional mark sheet and transcripts. I have sent a sealed cover mailed of my transcripts already. Am I still supposed to bring my other certificates? I would want to look more closely at your account to see what we have and what we don't have. So if you'd like, please send me an email and I'll go through and check what the graduate school has listed as complete for your account, and let you know like what the official word is on what you need to bring. Next question. On a lighter note, oh, just lost it again. Let me scroll back. You guys have a lot of questions in here. It's good. On a lighter note, have the floods of 2017 affected the University of Houston main campus? So we did have a hurricane in August of last year that did flood several of our buildings. The building I'm in now had quite a bit of damage, but it's all been repaired already. We're back up to full and ready to go. So really we're no longer affected. Houston is pretty used to flooding. We usually have at least 1 or 2 good rain events a year that cause some street flooding. And we joke all the time that it was one of the few places in the world where classes are canceled because of rain. But it does happen, and but Houston is used to it and ready for it. So I think that's one of the good things about it here, is that most Houstonians know what to expect and know how to deal with flooding. So I also need my original certificates for. Okay, so you don't need to send if you only have 1 copy of your original documentation, please don't mail that to us because we can't guarantee that we will return it to you. If you have original copies of any type of documents that you want to submit to the university, bring that in and hand it in by hand. They'll make a certified copy of it and hand it right back to you so that you don't lose anything that you really need to keep. If I opt for free shipping of I-20, will that delay too long to reach countries like India? So I think that the slowest way we send it, the free shipping, usually takes anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to arrive at most destinations. But of course, there's no tracking information, and we have no way to really ensure when it's going to be delivered. And so it is better if you can pay to have it expedited to you so that you have that tracking information. But I do think that it's still early enough in the year that you could get your I-20 and get a visa appointment and get here with no problem if you chose the free shipping option. Okay, how are the possibilities to continue PhD after master's in computer engineering? What are the requirements? Who to contact? So we do have students who either finish their master's and go into the PhD program. We also have students who start as master's students and then switch to the PhD program without getting their master's. Both of those are a possibility. In order to get into the PhD program, you need to have found a research advisor willing to support you for the PhD. So once you've found that, you can then choose whether you're going to finish your master's degree or go straight into the PhD. Some students choose to forego the master's and go straight to PhD because of the funding opportunities available. Other students would rather have that master's degree, so they finish that course first. You should talk to your academic advisor for computer engineering. That's Nafisa Lin, and she can help you figure out what the process is and how to go about getting into the PhD program. Yeah, I'm a chemist, and I have to take 5 extra classes. Do you suggest online 2 months face-to-face 2 months face-to-face summer classes? So since you're coming from outside engineering into an engineering degree, you have leveling courses that you need to take. I would talk to your academic advisor about which courses you need to take and when. You definitely can take courses over the summer to get started if you have a lot of leveling courses. In fact, I believe that I recognize your name and that your advisor's in the process of getting you in for the summer term so that you can take classes. And I think that, let's see, it's just, I'm not sure I totally understand your question. If you're asking if you should take 2 courses over the summer, which is considered full-time for summer. So you definitely can take 2 classes during the summer. Is it okay to get the original certificates without the sealed cover? So that is going to depend on which documents they are and if your university can send sealed documents. We're aware that there are some universities that will not give you another copy of your final degree certificate in a sealed envelope, and that's totally fine. You can bring that to us, and we will just make a copy and give it back to you. Our transcript office at the graduate school does this all the time, and they're very aware of which schools have what policies, and so they can definitely help you with figuring out if that's going to be okay. Is solvency certificate or financial capability certificate accepted for issuance of I-20? So I am not the expert on the specific forms that are accepted. So what I would suggest doing is uploading those to your account and let our CVIS coordinator look at them. And she'll let you know if she can't accept them. Most likely, they're probably fine. Okay, 2 months summer school classes or take it face-to-face for 1 month. I would really talk to your academic advisor because he's going to know more detail about what courses you're going to take and what the difficulty of those courses are, or whether you should take the longer course or the shorter course, the online course or the face-to-face course. I think your advisor will have more information about that. For the Facebook group, I'm going to talk to them today and make sure they go through and accept everybody into the group. I'm not technically an admin on that group yet, so I can't actually go in and fix that, but I can talk to the people who can. Okay, I have submitted my official transcript and attested copies of degree certificate and marks card. Should I submit the original ones? So send me an email and I'll check your account to see if we have everything. When you say attested copies, I'm assuming you mean hard copies in a sealed envelope. If you've submitted that, we should be good to go, but I can check your account to make sure that we have everything, and let you know what the graduate school wants. It is really difficult to remember the UH portal password. Is there any way to change the password own? I'm guessing that you mean the MyUH password. There is a way to change the password to your own password. I'm not really sure what issue you're having, but I would suggest contacting Information Technology. I gave their information earlier in the presentation, so you can go back and look at that and contact them because they can help you figure out what's going on. What is the course duration for Subsea Engineering MS, and how time is given for training and internships? So all of our master's degree programs are 30 credit hours. Most students finish that in about a year and a half. Some students do internships for the summer and fall of the second year. So you may be able to do that then. As I was talking about before, it depends on how many credit hours you're taking per semester. That determines how quickly you're going to finish and how much time you'll have for doing internships. Okay, how can we register ourselves for classes once you receive the transcripts? So once we have your transcripts and we've cleared the holds on your account, once you have your I-20 and have set up your MyUH account, you'll be able to see the course schedule and you'll be able to go through and pick your courses. You can also go read through on if you go to the UH.edu website and type in course enrollment, it'll bring you to that page that has like a step-by-step of everything you need to do, how to search the course schedule, how to add a class, all of that sort of thing. If you need help finding that, let me know and I'll send you the link. I'm wondering if you please clarify what would be the amount of RA, approximately what percentage of tuition and living costs can be covered by the RA or TA. So the amount that you get paid as an RA or TA is dependent on who's paying you. I believe that the minimum that we usually have for most RAs and TAs is $1,650 per month, but many make more than that. It depends on what lab you're working in, who your major professor is, or whether you're an RA or a TA, what department you're in. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. There's not one set amount that everybody gets paid. If I got a scholarship from the China Scholarship Council and I receive a tuition waiver, should I submit the letter financial backing? Yes. So what you want to do is upload the award letter from the Chinese Scholarship Council as your supporting documentation to show that you have outside support in addition to the GTF and the in-state waiver. And so that way they'll be able to process your I-20 without you showing any bank statements. And I'm not sure about the letter of financial backing. I would suggest go ahead and filling it out and uploading it just in case. When can I expect I-20? So that's going to be different for every student. Go ahead and send me an email and I can look at where yours is in the process and we'll find out how much longer it'll be. Following up to earlier query, I put regarding submitting memos of final year. I was told to have to check in with ISSS before I can enroll my classes. Can you elaborate on this, please? So it used to be the policy that you had to check in with International Student Services before you could enroll in classes. But about a year ago, they changed that policy to allow incoming graduate students to get enrolled before they arrive. We were having a lot of problems with new students not being able to get the classes that they wanted. So you should be able to enroll once you've cleared all of the other holds off your account. If you do have any trouble, let me know and I'll look into it. What is the best period to apply for internships for next year summer break? So probably at the beginning of next year, you'll be starting to look into that and applying for internships. I would suggest talking to our Engineering Career Center about when students usually apply and what internship opportunities they're aware of, because they will post those to their portal as well. But also talk to other students too, find out where they've been working and when they applied. Those will be your best resources, I think, for finding work. Will I be able to get internships after I finish my course on an accelerated credits? So You won't be able to do like a co-op internship through CPT after you finish your course. You'll be an OPT at that point, which whether you're working as an intern or in another type of position is going to depend on what kind of position you can find. How can I make the process of getting I-20 faster? So if you've uploaded all your documents and submitted your acceptance of the offer and you haven't heard back yet, please let me know and I'll look into it and find out what stage it's at. But really, there's not much you can do other than pay the extra to expedite the shipping. We'll get it to you as fast as we can. We'll get it processed as fast as we can, and then we'll mail it to you. Will I be eligible for my in-state tuition waiver if I take only 9 credit hours in the fall and 9 in the spring instead of 12? Your scholarship would be revoked if you did not enroll in 12 credit hours. Since out-of-state tuition waiver and eligibility of in-state tuition fees are the same thing, so can I subtract the in-state waiver amount while estimating my expenses in the financial backing document? Yes, so if you have a scholarship, you should subtract the amount that's in that last column on the letter of financial backing, and that will tell you how much you actually need to show in your supporting documents. How many openings are there for TA for PhD students generally? How to avail one? So every department determines their own number of TAs. You should contact the program director for your department to find out how many TAs positions there are. And how you can get one. I really can't answer that question more specifically because it will be different for every department. With scholarship, I need to complete my course in 12 months, but my I-20 mentions the course duration. Okay, so the I-20 is going to give you 3 years to finish your degree. The reason for that is that we don't want you to lose the opportunity to finish your degree if something unforeseen happens. So if you get sick, if something happens with a family member and you have to go back home, that sort of thing, we want to make sure that your I-20 is still valid and that you can finish your degree. So they give you extra time on your I-20. That's not how long they expect it to actually take, but it's a little bit of padding so if anything goes wrong. What should I mention for the period of stay on my DS-160 form? So for that, I honestly don't know. If you'd like, I can check with our CVIS coordinator and find out. Just send me an email. And we can make sure that you don't put the wrong thing on there, but most likely it should match your I-20. Okay, so the next question is asking the same question. And so since multiple of you have the same question, I'm going to look into that with our graduate school CVIS coordinator and with our International Student Services office and see if I can find a better answer for you. Do you suggest online over face-to-face? So I really can't answer that because I don't know what courses they are and I don't know who the instructors are or how difficult the courses would be. I think your advisor would probably be the best one to talk to about that. You know, and it also depends on how you work as a student. I know for myself, I've never done well in online courses. Face-to-face has always worked better for me. But some students excel just fine in online courses, so it's really going to be up to you. I don't think that there is any kind of rule one way or another which one you have to take. If my graduate tuition fellowship covers tuition and mandatory fees for the enrollment required by my program, the amount covers all tuition and fees for 9 credit hours. However, students who are getting scholarship of take 12. So yeah, so that's exactly actually why you only have to take 9 credit hours is because the graduate tuition fellowship only covers 9 credit hours. PhD students are only required to take 9 credit hours. And it used to actually be that PhD students had to take 12, but we changed that so that we could cover your fees as well. We didn't want PhD students having to pay out of pocket for the fees the university charges. So now the university only requires 9 credit hours in order to receive your fellowship. Okay, so I got $1,000 scholarship along with in-state tuition fee. The course gets completed in 1 year. Will the visa be issued for 1 year or 2 years? So your visa will be issued for the length of time on your I-20. However, your visa, once you finish the degree, that is when your I-20 will end, right? So when you finish, you have to go into your OPT period in order to stay in the U.S. Um, let's see. So as I was saying before, for the tuition and fees for PhD students, you only need to take 9 credit hours. If you did take more, you would have to pay for them yourself. And not very many students do that, of course. As per decision letter, which costs show I consider total costs or student costs? I'm pretty much confused by this. So I believe you're talking about the chart that is included for students who received the scholarship and the out-of-state tuition waiver. If that's the case, then you pay the student cost. The total cost is the amount it would cost you if you did not have a scholarship or a tuition waiver. So the student cost is the amount after all of that funding is taken out. And so, as you can see, it's about half of what the full cost of tuition would be. Are the internships paid, which occur in the summer term? Yes, we prefer for you to get a paid internship. We don't provide the internships ourselves, but we will help you locate them and apply for them. And most engineering internships are paid. So really, I wouldn't expect you to take one that wasn't. There is no surname or last name. I just have a given name. Will it be a problem when I arrive on campus? So no, we're pretty used to that. We have a lot of international students with only one name. Just make sure you follow the guidelines given on the immigration website for how you list your name on your I-20 and on your passport. As long as all of that is fine, you won't have any issues. For how much time can I stay in the U.S. after I have completed the course? How much time will I get to search for a job or internship? So I think it's either 60 or 90 days. I'd have to check that with our international students office that you have after you finish your course to find a job to start OPT. I know it's on their website, so if you want to, you can look at our International Student Scholar Services website, or you can send me an email and I'll send you a link to it. So yes, you do need to take 12 credit hours to keep your scholarship. Can we apply for on-campus employment before we physically get to UH and enroll in classes? So you do need to enroll in classes before you can start applying for jobs on campus, but you don't have to be here if you've managed to get all of your holds removed and get yourself enrolled in classes. Okay, so the next question is about student organizations and extracurricular activities on campus. So that's a big question because we have a lot of them. We have 250 student organizations, all different types, from shared interest in a certain game to cultural organizations. There's so many different ones. We also have a huge rec center that has a lot of extracurricular athletic activities. So they have intramural sports. There's lots of different teams that you can join. This campus it's really the diversity of the campus that makes it so vibrant and so many different opportunities. It's really hard to put into words how much there is to do on this campus. So when are we supposed to pay for the semester fees if I have in-state scholarship? Should I pay it yearly or semester-wise? So tuition and fees are all charged per semester. You'll receive a bill every semester for your tuition and fees. You can pay it all at once, or you can do a payment plan. We have those available so that it divides your payments into 4 equal payments, 1 per month for each semester. So there's lots of different ways that you can handle that. I would suggest reading through the payment information on our website. All payments are accepted online, so you would be paying through your MyUH account. So 12 credit hours per semester or per academic year? It is per semester. 12 credit hours is 4 classes, so you'd be taking 4 classes per semester. How do I know if I've got a tuition waiver or not? It should be in your letter. If you've received a scholarship, you will also have gotten the tuition waiver. If you're having difficulty finding that, please send me an email and I'll look into it for you. I got a graduate tuition fellowship, an RA assistantship, presidential fellowship, and out-of-state waiver. My total funding covers all of my expenses. Am I required to submit bank statements? No, you are not. All you need, if you have full funding that covers the amount, all you need to upload is a copy of your passport. Unless you have dependents that you're bringing with you, then you also need to have documentation for them. But if it's just you coming and you have full funding, all we need is a copy of your passport, and we can start processing your I-20. I wonder to know whether the I-20 will be processed only when all required documents are received. So all the financial documents have to be received before we can process your I-20. Okay, on a much lighter note, so can we get free passes to Rockets baseball games to watch? No, so we do have student prices for UH basketball games, but for the Rockets you will have to pay just like everyone else. I will say though that we have a train here that goes right to where all of the sports arenas are, so you can take 5-10 minutes to get there, and that's pretty cheap. So everything downtown is like a 5-minute train ride from UH. So it's really easy to get to all of these different venues and locations. The living expenses shown in the letter of financial statement is for 1 year or 2 years. So you have to show proof that you have living expenses for 1 year. And that is all that is needed to get you the I-20. Okay. My transcripts, provisional degree, and mark sheets are attested except one mark sheet and main degree. It'd be all right if I send directly without attesting these two. So I can't answer that question because I haven't seen the documents, and I'd really prefer for our transcript evaluators to review everything. So send us what you have, and we'll process it as quickly as we can and let you know what else is missing or if there's anything else we need. Is there any student loan for international students? The federal student loan system that we have here in the U.S. is only for domestic students. If you were going to get a student loan, you'd have to do that in your home country, most likely. Is there any way that I can make sure whether my funding covers total expenses or not? So if you have the graduate tuition fellowship and an assistantship, that covers your funding completely. So you mentioned that you also have a presidential fellowship. That is extra on top. So really, you don't need to worry. If you have the graduate tuition fellowship and an assistantship, your expenses are covered. Thank you so much. Looking forward to meeting you on campus. I'm looking forward to you all coming as well. I hope that this has been helpful, and I'm going to give another minute or two just in case anybody's currently writing a question. I don't want to cut it off, but I do want to thank everybody for participating. And I want to, again, point out the gradschool@uh.edu email address. That's a really great way to get your questions answered. You can also email me directly, blyale@uh.edu. Okay, we do have a couple more questions. I'm planning to stay at Conroe, Texas. Will it be difficult to travel to the university? Is there any regular transportation from Houston to Conroe? So Conroe is a bit of a drive. I would guess it's probably about an hour and a half from campus. That is a bit of a long drive. It's not impossible though, because we do have a lot of students that commute to campus from all over Houston. Conroe is a really nice city, so you'll probably enjoy being there. It's more of a small town. There's a large lake there and everything. So, but you will want to make sure that you plan out your courses, hopefully, so that you're not driving in rush hour traffic. I'm not aware of any like public transportation that goes to Conroe, but that's definitely something that you can look into. Next question is, I'm a Texas resident and would like to switch to online program. Is that possible? So if you are in a program that has an online equivalent, you can switch to the online program. Not all of our programs do have online programs, so you'll need to talk to your academic advisor to find out if that's a possibility for you. Let's see, can we pay tuition and fees monthly? Yes, you can. You can sign up for an installment payment plan that will divide your payments into 4 monthly payments. You can find information about that on our website, and you sign up for that through my UH. If my scholarship decision will be released around June, I wonder whether it's too late for the I-20 process. We can still process your I-20 in June if you're confident that you will be able to get a visa appointment and everything, and to make it here by about the middle of August. I've definitely seen it done before, so it probably won't be a problem. But if you are able to, you may want to try to use some supporting documentation and bank statements so you can get your I-20 earlier if that's a possibility for you. If not, then we have no problem waiting until June to process that document for you. Okay, what is the documents required to issue International Student I-20? So it's a copy of a passport, the letter of financial backing, which is a document that we provide that you need to fill out. And then the supporting documentations are usually bank statements or a loan letter, something of that sort. So those are the documents that you need to upload into your application checklist, so that there's a section called international documents. That's where those documents need to go. Once you've done that, we will be able to process your I-20. Okay, and so once again, I'm just going to wait a minute to make sure I haven't missed anybody's questions, or that anybody is typing a question right now. Okay, and I want to thank you all again for participating. We will continue to do webinars throughout the summer. We'll have some different topics coming. Probably in June or July, I'll have that orientation schedule for you, so that you can see exactly when all of your orientations are going to be. We'll have more information about payments, how to set up those payment plans. And so we'll continue to have new topics and more information as time goes by. And hopefully this will be really helpful for all of you, so that when you get here, you'll be ready to go to your classes. Okay, we have a couple final questions. See, I will transfer out of my OPT and transfer into U of H on May 2nd. When will I receive my I-20? Okay, so if you transfer your I-20, once we get that record, which I guess will be on May 2nd, your school will transfer that record to us. At that point, we'll be able to process your I-20. That usually only takes a couple of days, as long as we have everything in order. And then we will contact you to find out how you want to receive that document. So we can mail it to you wherever you are. Another option could be that you could pick it up from your academic advisor if you're here in Houston. And so it shouldn't take long once we can get your record released to us. Okay, so someone said they had one last question. We're gonna wait just a minute to see if they're typing that right now. Are industries reluctant to hire international students due to present H-1 scenario? So it is always more difficult for international students to find work. A lot of companies are resistant towards having to go through that whole process, through the sponsorship and all of that to get you an H-1 visa. It is difficult. That said, there are other companies that love to hire international students. So it's really going to be dependent on you, and how hard you work and what kind of networking you can do while you're here, in order to find those types of positions. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and stop here. If you have more questions, please email me. Oh, there's another question. I'm going to go ahead and read this one. We were not notified officially about this webinar. Got to know about this through a friend. Please do email us. This is very informative. Okay, so I emailed every student who had been admitted to one of our programs about this webinar last week. So if you were admitted between last week and now, you probably did not get the email, but you will get emails for future ones. If you were admitted and didn't receive the email, my next guess would be that you might have a Yahoo email address. Since I have you all here, I want to let you know that if you do have a Yahoo email address linked to your account, please change it to another one, because we're having a lot of difficulty with our emails getting through to Yahoo. And so you may be missing emails from the university. The last question, I wanted to know whether a spouse will be permitted to accompany me as a dependent and how to apply for a visa for her. So yes, you can bring your spouse. And so for that, you will need to get an I-20 for her as well. And you need to show support for your spouse. And you also need to upload, usually it's a marriage certificate and passport for your spouse as well. And if you need help finding that information, just email me and we'll go through it and I'll let you know what the list of documents you need for your spouse are as well. All right, so thank you guys all for participating. So we'll probably have our next webinar around the middle of May. And then we'll continue to have them throughout the summer. And I look forward to talking to you all again then. So thank you again for participating. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen with you. And and say goodbye. Thank you so much. Bye.